Thoughts build up until I can't hear. That my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to...
Man Hour Nation, it's time to get shocked. Time again. NFL players think they're above everybody else, I want to say. Maybe just think their opinions really matter. I don't know at the end of the day, but Aaron Rodgers is now the second person to come out and publicly say that the NFL services all need to be grass. Pete Carroll did it just a couple weeks ago, and now Aaron Rodgers has come out and publicly said it as well. And then I got to sit back and thinking, you know what? Grass is nice. We have a grass high school field, and we are throwing out that grass high school field to throw in a turf field. Why? I'll tell you why. Do you guys know what kind of maintenance goes into a grass field? Do you know what kind of, it is a 40 to 50 hour a week job just to maintain a high school field to get it ready to play on Friday night. Think about a NFL field to get that ready to play on a Sunday afternoon or a Monday night. You have to paint the lines, you got to paint the logos, the numbers, the trimming of the grass, giving in all those divots, and it is crazy astronomical amount of work that goes into maintaining a grass field. Now, you can say all you want about player safety, yada, yada, yada. Now, there are some services that are, quote, more ACL tear friendly, right? They say the Indianapolis Colts field is injury prone, right? I think it's like the Giants maybe or something in Seattle. I don't really remember this, but there's like a list of like 6 fields. Guys, let's flash back to Sunday. That Germany game, right? That was a nice grass field. Did you see it after halftime? That field was legit tore to hell. Think about how much work they get to get that field ready to play, and by halftime, it was complete trash. There were 6-inch divots. There were cleat marks slid for like 3 yards. It was crazy. So did Aaron Rodgers say that he wants a grass field? Okay, then you maintain it, my man. Yes, Green Bay does have a grass field. I get it. But every other NFL field, how about those indoor fields? Do you expect them to cart the grass in and out every time the grass needs a little bit of sun? Like, at the end of the day, it's just way too much freaking work to maintain a grass field. And that's why the NFL will never, quote, mandate everybody to have a grass field. But, cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs. You know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA. We the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers. Go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhouse here with the Man Hour. Sure to head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the blog section, of course. Check out the merchandise section as well. We do have the member-only hoodies back over there in stock. So if you are a member over here at youtube.com/Man Hour, be sure to pick up your hoodie. All you gotta do is enter in that promo code. You get your emails from, and bada bing, bada boom, you get your members-only hoodie. Now this is the old school one, but this is it's a little bit more sexy, right? We got the new Man Hour logo there with the members only, with the big old Man Hour Nation rise up on the back. It is beautiful. It is sexy. But guys, it is Tuesday. And do you know what happens here on Tuesday? We overreact to the nonsense that's going over on Facebook. I have been trolling the old Facebook all day long, planting little seeds here, a little bit of seeds there, and I see the comments that people are overreacting to, and I simply say, are these comments an overreaction or a underreaction? So we are going to talk about the Green Bay Packers possibly making a playoff run, running the table, getting to the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about the Indianapolis Colts making a possible playoff push. What? The Rams Super Bowl window officially closed. Cooper Kupp on IR with ankle surgery. And we're going to talk a little bit of draft. We're going to talk a little bit of draft with the Las Vegas Raiders possibly drafting Derek Carr's replacement. All that and much more, guys, coming up here on the Man Hour. But we have to welcome some of the members over here on the old live stream. Here we got Alpha Rob. He says, what's up, Buck? I say, what is up, Alpha Rob? We see Troy jumping in the chat. What's up, Troy? Glad to see you here tonight. We got my mama. Mama Buck is in the house. What is up, Mama? I am glad you are tuning in tonight. See you here in like 6 days. Mama Buck's coming to town. Thanksgiving, baby. Damn. Speaking of which, I got some great merch for you guys tomorrow. I'm going to rep it. I'm going to shoot a nice little promo for the video for all you Detroit Lions fans out there. Tune in because this is going to be a great man. Arthur Brown is in the chat. He says, what's up? Fins up, he says. Man, we got a lot of AFC East people in the chat. We got Alpha Rob, we got Arthur, we got Troy. Guys, I am so glad you guys are here tonight. But let's get this party started on this Overreaction Tuesday. Overreaction Tuesday. As it is time to get started, and the first over or no overreaction of the night is we're going to talk about the Green Bay Packers, guys. The Green Bay Packers broke a 5-game losing streak to the Dallas Cowboys last week when they beat them in overtime 31-28. And a talk around the Facebook groups that I'm a part of, you know, I'm a master troll there. I plant those seeds here or there and basically let the fans eat it up. And I said, will the Green Bay Packers run the table and make the playoffs? And boy, were the NFC North fans going crazy. Man, they were fighting left and fighting right, and I loved every minute of it, man. I was grabbing my popcorn at work like, man, this is beautiful stuff. But then I got to thinking, looking at the records, just looking at the schedule moving forward for the Green Bay Packers, and I think basically for them to make even a wild card, they're probably going to have to get 10 wins on the season. And right now they're sitting at 4-6, right? Or something to that effect. So they basically need 6 wins in these last, 7 weeks to basically even be in consideration of making that playoff push. So let's look at their schedule moving forward. This Thursday, they do play the Tennessee Titans at home. And then they travel to Philly that just got off their first loss. How are they going to rebound, right? And then they're at Chicago. And then they played a crippled Rams team. And then they play at Miami, which is Miami is a scary place to play because it's at sea level and just the air stick. And for whatever reason, it is really hard to play in Miami. And then they finished 2 home games with Minnesota versus Detroit. So out of those 6-7 games there, they have to win, out of those 8 or 9 games there, they have to win probably 6 games to legitimately make a playoff push. So I have them beating the Titans. I just for whatever reason, Thursday night, I don't care how much better the other team is, the home team always has the advantage. I think I saw a stat last year where 75% of the time the home team wins in a Thursday night game. So I'm going to give the Packers that one. So there's their one. I don't think they're going to Philly. They're not going to win. They're going to beat Chicago, give them 2. They're going to beat the Rams, give them 3 there. They're not going to beat Miami. So that means they have to win out versus Minnesota and Detroit. And guys, right now, Minnesota is the number 1 team in Beastie Combs' power rankings. They just knocked off the mighty Buffalo Bills. They are 8-1. They look damn freaking good. And Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins and Delvin Cook and the whole boys are looking fantastic in the addition of TJ Hawkinson. So that right there, I think that Week 17 matchup versus the Vikings, that ultimately blows out their playoff chances. So I am going to. I could possibly see them making the playoffs is that the Minnesota Vikings completely fall off the face of this earth. Right now, they're sitting at 8-1. I think 11 wins is going to win the division, so they legitimately need 3 more wins to basically lock in that division. And let's look at the Vikings schedule moving forward, right? The Dallas Cowboys, possible win. It is a home game. The Cowboys could, let's just say they lose that game. Then they're at home versus the Patriots and Jets. Let's say they lose those games. Let's just be devil's advocate. Let's say they lose those 3 games in a row at home. Then they're at Detroit. Ford Place is another hard place to play. It's oddly very, very loud, just a tough place to play. Okay, they might lose 4 in a row, but then they're going to lose to Indy and Green Bay and Chicago. Like, guys, I don't see any way whatsoever the Minnesota Vikings can lose basically 6 games in a row. Like, they're going to beat Detroit, they're going to beat Chicago, and they're going to beat Indy. I mean, that right there is your 3 wins, and that locks in the playoffs. So it is definitely. I just don't see it happening. And I'm not saying that the Green Bay Packers are a bad team, but they're not very good. We were writing them off into the sunset just Saturday afternoon. 5 losses in a row, and then all of a sudden they beat the Cowboys, and all of a sudden we're talking about playoffs and Super Bowl for the Green Bay Packers. Like, come on. This is the biggest overreaction ever. Calm the F down. The Packers are not making the playoffs. They're damn sure not making a Super Bowl run. Aaron Rodgers they might possibly be end of the hunt until week 17, but after that, when the Vikings come into town and whoop that ass, sorry, guys. It is what it is. Arthur Brown says, I do not see them making the playoffs. I don't either. Like Arthur Brown. Mama Buck says, vote for your uncle's Packers to win. I mean, and your wife. So my wife and my uncle are both Packers fans. So like, I just don't see it. I am a realist at the end of the day, and I'm a fan, and I'll be rooting for them. I mean, I'm a fan because they're a fan, and I like to see their teams win, right? But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Joey, my man, is in the chat, says, I've been waiting. Shut up. Already take an L. And already L. So, Joey, you are telling me that the Green Bay Packers are going to run this table and make the playoffs. Tell me that, Joey. In the chat right here, tell me that they are going to make the playoffs. Don't hedge your bets like, oh, if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, or if they bring back Amari Rodgers after they cut him. No. Spoiler alert, the Green Bay Packers did just cut Amari Rodgers, Mr. Fumble Prone, like himself. Like, guys, the Green Bay Packers are not making the playoffs. Sorry, Joey. I know you are. Are you a Packers fan? Like, I don't even know who your team is. I think your team's the Bengals, aren't they? I mean, the Bengals aren't even going to make the playoffs. Joey says right here in the chat, guys, at youtube.com/manout, that the Packers will make the playoffs. So guys, right now in all the chats going across the board here, let me know if you guys think Joey is right. Will the Green Bay Packers make the playoffs? Or he says they will make the playoffs. I'm saying no. Arthur Brown's saying no. And then see my man Jameson jumping in the chat as well. What is up, gentlemen? What's up, Jameson? I hope you're having a good night, my man. Let me pop some likes on you guys. Let me give you some love, baby. But anyways, moving on to the next one. Guys, this is another team that we were literally just talking about. They're going to tank. They're going to draft a quarterback. They're going to do this, and this, right? And then one win over the horrendous, that's right, horrendous Las Vegas Raiders. That's right, we're talking about none other than the Indianapolis Colts. Ever since the addition of Jeff Saturday and they got that win, people are talking about playoff aspirations for the Colts. So what do? I plant that seed in the old Facebook groups. I said, the Colts are going to run the table and make the playoffs. What? Many of the Colts fans are realists out there. I have to give you guys that. The Indianapolis Colts fans are probably the most realist fan base out there. And they said no. Like, we are not going to make the playoffs. We've already lost to the Titans twice, and the only way we can make it is the wild card. And that is absolutely correct. Right now, the Colts are sitting at 4-5-1 with that tie coming to the Houston Texans. I think it was week 1, wasn't it, when they tied? Tie is the stupidest thing in the NFL ever, hands down. But when we sit back and we think about it, can the Indianapolis Colts legitimately make a playoff push? So in the AFC, it is very, very top loaded. So we're talking like the first, 5 or 6 teams, really, really solid, really, really good teams. Right now, guys, the New England Patriots are sitting at that 7 seed at 5-5, no, they're 4-5. So they're sitting at the 7 seed at 4-5. So legitimately, I think we could see a losing team from the AFC make it into the playoffs. So with that being said, I think 9 wins is probably that magic number to where the Colts could possibly sneak into the playoffs. And sitting at 4-5-1, they are legitimately needing 5 wins to get into the playoffs. So let's look at their schedule moving forward. This Sunday, they're at home taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Can they beat the Philadelphia Eagles? They can. Will they? No. The Philadelphia Eagles are pissed off. They're pissed off that their regular season, that their perfect season is ruined. Give me an L on that one. Let me mark that down. Then they welcome Pittsburgh into town. Give me a dub on that one. Like, Pittsburgh, they're in 100% tanking rebuild mode at this point, I think. And then they're at Dallas, at Minnesota. L and L for that one. They're already, one of their last 3 or 4 right now, giving them only 5 wins on the season. So they have to win out at this point to make a playoff even smell it, right? LA Chargers come into town. The Chargers guys they are a team that I don't know what to think of them. They play great one half and then they're shit the second half. Let's look at that Sunday night game. I thought they were going to walk all over the 49ers. I fell asleep about mid-second quarter. Halftime, I woke up about mid-third quarter, and they're getting their asses whooped. Like, it is just like bad baby, bad baby. So let's say, realistically, the Chargers come in and they lay an egg versus the Colts. That's a dub. And then they travel to New York to take on a damn good Giants team. Right now, I believe BC has them at 5 in their power rankings, and the Giants are clicking on all cylinders. Now, had they peaked too early, that is yet to be determined, and we'll talk about that next week if they win or lose this week coming off their bye week, but I think the Giants have peaked too early. So let's say they go into Meadowlands and they beat them, right? And then they beat Houston to end the season. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 wins. So that is going out on a ledge, and that's only giving them 8 wins. That is 8-1 moving forward, and I just don't think that gets them into the playoffs. So will the Colts run the table and make the playoffs? That is an open. You guys are realistic. You guys are the most realistic fans so far today. And you said, no, we're not going to make the playoffs. But I agree with you. So, guys, let me know in the chat. Do you guys think the Indianapolis Colts will run the table and make the playoffs? I mean, not like run the table like win out, but let's say I think realistically they need 5 wins out of their next, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. So they need to win 5 of their next 7 games to make the playoffs. Do you guys think that can happen? Let me know in the chat here, and we will, go through it here. We see Nana in the chat. What is up, Nana? He says, hey, fellas, or she says, hey, fellas, you're sounding much better tonight. Nana, I think I've always sound good. Just sometimes I get cranky and my throat gets a little raw, and Yeah, it is. It is what it is. Jameson says the Patriots are 5-4. You are correct, Jameson. I misspoke on that. I forgot that they beat who they play last week. I can't even remember. And then he says, for them to make the playoffs, several teams would have to literally fall apart. He's referring to the Packers. Or is he talking about the Colts? But yeah, either way, both of those teams to make the playoffs, like literally the brakes have to fall off the Vikings. The brakes have to fall off the Titans. Hell, brakes have to fall off the Ravens, the Bucks. Like I know we're back and forth there, but really, realistically, they have to run the table, be perfect the next 7 games, and hope the Vikings lose 3-4 games. They need to hope the Titans, for the Colts-wise, lose a bunch of games. There is a lot of stuff that needs to happen, and I just don't see it happening. So Nana says, yep, LOL. Southern Indian and allergies. Yeah, allergies suck, man. Like, I mean, I've had allergies like my whole life, but when I moved here to the Ohio Valley like 6-7 years ago now, that first week here, I was literally on my ass in bed, curled up in a ball for like 2 weeks saying, I want to go home. It was so bad. I mean, it was freaking August, right? So like all the hay fever and all, and it was terrible. It was terrible. Nana is a Colts fan. I'm thinking about getting season tickets to the Colts game next year. And I think you and me need a road trip up to Indianapolis 8 times next year. Me, you, and the boys, and get some games. But she says, I love my Colts regardless. Hell yeah, you should. Hell yeah, you should, brother. Colts are freaking badass. I don't know. If you guys have not been to Lucas Oil Stadium, it is a sight to be seen. Like, I went to the Cowboys-Colts game, and we had seats, like, way up there, right? You know, it was kind of a last-second thing, like, hey, let's go to the Colts Stadium. Let's watch the Cowboys play. And there was not a bad seat in that place. It was freaking awesome. Jameson, I am with you 100% on this, man. He says, it is a joke the NFL still allows ties. Jameson, name me one other professional game that allows ties. Hockey used to allow ties, like 6 years ago, and they changed it to like a sudden death shootout to like the playoffs thing, right? And that is the best thing since sliced bread. That makes hockey freaking exciting. Like, I want to go see the shootout, which I'm going to the Nashville Predators game in a couple weeks. Pretty excited about that. But yeah, the tie thing in the NFL, absolutely horrendous. Just like, play the 10 minutes and call it a day. If it's a tie after 10 minutes, 10 more minutes, right? Screw player safety. It's all about money at the end of the day, right, Vegas? But moving on here. Moving on. Don't get too carried away about Vegas. And I will say that tomorrow when Combsy is back on and see if he wants to bring his A game or his B game. But nonetheless, guys, let's talk about the LA Rams. The LA Rams literally bought themselves a Super Bowl last year by trading away their franchise quarterback in Jared Goff and bringing in Matthew Stafford. And they got Odell Beckham Jr. They got Von Miller. They literally bought themselves a championship last season, and they had probably a 3 to 4 year window where they could win a lot of games. Unfortunately, this year, the wheels have kind of fell off the bus. They lost Von Miller in free agency. Odell Beckham Jr. tore his ACL in the Super Bowl. Probably won't sign back with the Rams anyways because they're terrible this year. And just announced that Cooper Kupp will be gone on IR and he'll have season-ending ankle injury. Season-ending ankle surgery, I should say. So, is this an overreaction or underreaction that the Rams Super Bowl window has officially been closed? Guys, the Rams Super Bowl window was closed last year after they won the Super Bowl. Did you guys see how Aaron Donald was happy. Like, he was giving, like, the ring sign, like, oh, yeah. Like he was, like, relieved that they won the Super Bowl, and he was just, like, ready to ride off into the sunset. There is no hunger on that team. There is no drive on that team. Like, the hardest thing to do in sports is not winning a championship. It is repeating a championship. It is coming back the next season with that same hunger, with that same drive to succeed over and over and over again. I think that's ultimately why when I was in high school, when we went to 4 state championships, we never won one, but that's how we got back each and every year because we wanted that goal. We could never quite grasp it. I mean, when you make a championship game 4 years in a row and you lose every one and get your ass whooped, that pisses you off for the next season and you want to get back there. The Rams were completely satisfied and completely full after they won that Super Bowl last season. And the other reason why this window is officially closed for them because they have literally 3 draft picks in the next 2 seasons. 3 draft picks in the next 2 seasons because they traded everything away to win 1 championship. They literally sold their soul to the devil to win 1 championship. And the devil's like, hey, you guys might get 3 or 4. Nope, just kidding. Like, it is not an overreaction that the Rams Super Bowl window is officially been closed. Like, it is just, when you go all in on 1 season, you don't look forward to the future. Let's think of the 49ers back in the the Raiders back in like the early 80s, right? They went all in to win that 1 Super Bowl, and they were dog crap for, 20 years, right? And then John Gruden came in, and they won another Super Bowl, like, boop, and then right back down. That's exactly what the Rams are going to do. So Rams fans, do not overreact. The next 20 years are going to be terrible. You are going to get 3 to 5 wins every season. And then next season, you'll be, we're way up here again, then way back down. There is no level of consistency. Like, yes, I know the Rams, did they go to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff? I'm pretty sure they did. It was McVay's first year, right? And did they end up losing to the Patriots? I think it was. Like either way, my mind's kind of foggy about that. But they never maintain that level of success, right? Why the Kansas City Chiefs have a chance to have a dynasty is because they have been consistently building, and they were there, and now they're kind of riding that wave on top. Exactly like the New England Patriots. They were like poof there, and they were on the pinnacle, and there's no straight increase or straight decrease. So every time I feel like a team is like bad and then all of a sudden really freaking good, the next season, like, they're just going to be like, meh, the Bengals. Now, I'm not saying the Bengals, went and bought themselves a team, right? They drafted and worked their ass off in the draft, but this overnight success that they kind of quote had, that's why they're not as hungry this season, because last year they were 10-7 going into the playoffs, and they just happened to get right at the right time. And they probably think, hey, we can do it again. But the Rams Super Bowl window is officially been closed 100% because they're not hungry. They're old vets. They're all 30 plus years old. They got the Super Bowl ring. Right now, they're just collecting a paycheck until it's time to retire. Let's just be honest. It is what it is. Jameson, 49ers fan himself, he says the Rams got lucky last year. They haven't beaten the 49ers in the regular season in how long? Like 5 years. Matthew Stafford led the league in interceptions last season. It was a total fluke. Well, Jameson, do you know why the 49ers have beat the Rams in the regular season the last 5 seasons? Jimmy G. Call a spade a spade. Jimmy G is your man. Jimmy G leads you to the championship almost every time. But, yeah, I wouldn't say, if you want to call a Super Bowl a fluke, I get what you're saying, right? But literally any NFL team, if they get right at the hot time, let's look at the Giants. A year they beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl to break their perfect year, right? They had to win their last 2 games just to even make it in as a wild card. They were 8-8. 6 seed going into the playoffs. They just happened to get hot at the right time. Nobody in their evergreen mind thought the Giants were going to win the Super Bowl that year. They got hot at the right time, and bada bing, bada boom, they are there. Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Jerome Bettis' final year. They backed their way into the playoffs somehow, some way. I believe they were 7-9. Actually, they had a losing record. They got hot. They ran the bus, ran them until he ran out of gas, and they ended up winning a Super Bowl. Right? So, really, any NFL team can beat any NFL team any given time. The Bengals got hot at the right time last season. They snuck their way. They didn't really sneak their way into the playoffs. Like, they had the fifth seed pretty much locked in, but they went into Tennessee. They happened to derail King Henry and the boys, and then they just continued to battle, and then they just got hot at the right time. So no, every Super Bowl is kind of a fluke, right? You have to be playing good football to win a Super Bowl. That is just the way it is. And then Jameson also says Matthew Stafford sucks. That is to be determined. Like, I would like to get a poll going. So tomorrow I am going to get a poll going over at facebook.com/manhoursports. It is simply going to be a yes or no question. And we'll say, does Matthew Stafford suck? And tomorrow we will release that poll out there. And maybe next Monday we will say, yeah, Matthew Stafford does suck per Man Hour Sports members, or I don't know. I mean, I need to figure out a better way to word it right. But we'll see if the common people out there think Matthew Stafford sucks, because I don't think he sucks. I just think he's old and he's injured. Aaron Donald is a dirtbag. I kind of tend to agree with that. He's kind of that douchey guy that everybody loves, right? It just, I mean, like, he is a very, very, I don't want to say dirty player, but he plays through the whistle, right? He played like me when I played. You always push the limit, to get underneath other people's skin. Like, if I see you getting ready to step out of bounds, but I know I can lay a lick on you without getting caught, I'm going to lay a lick on you and lay your ass out. Get out of bounds sooner. Don't you be trying to tiptoe around and get the extra yards. Get that crap out of here, man. I don't care if you're a quarterback, a running back, or a lineman. I'm going to hit you square in the mouth and get your ass out of bounds. So I think Aaron Donald's kind of that same way. Now, I was a player that you loved me if I was on your team, but you hated me if you played against me. Just because I was that type of person, and my teammates fed off that, and we lived life very angrily, right? So, Jameson, you are a 49ers fan, and I think that's why you think Aaron Donald is a dirtbag, just because he pushes that envelope over and over again. Kind of like Sue, right? When Sue played for the Lions, everybody hated him. Jameson, you are a Huskers fan. I'm sure you loved Sue when he was at the Huskers, but when he went to the Lions or to some other team, you're like, man, this guy's kind of a tool. It just, you love them when they're on your team, but you hate them when they're on the other team. It's just, so to say he's a dirtbag is kind of a double-edged sword a little bit there. Rams lost to the 49ers in their last regular season game, then should have lost in the playoffs, but Tart dropped an easy interception that would have likely sealed the game. Hey, what is the old saying is, like, what if, what is it? It's like, you can have a bucket full of what ifs, but it is what it is, or something. I gotta remember, but my grandpa used to say it to me like all the time. So Nana, you might know the old outage, but yeah, he didn't do that kind of stuff. Yeah, Jameson, go play back the tape of Sue at Nebraska. He was the dirtiest MFer in the college game his junior year. I guarantee you. Go back and play that tape. You saw that shit. You are a Huskers fan, so you had a glasses half full type of view on that situation. So mean, it is what it is, but like, I mean, come on, man. Like, I understand. Nana says I'm trying to think of it. Yeah, I mean, like, of the old it is what it is outage. But it was always funny because like my grandpa would like have the funniest old little sayings, and it's just like I could never think of them at all. But moving on to the last, that's right, the last Overreaction Tuesday here, guys. Overreaction Tuesday. Last of our 4 overreactions here on this Tuesday edition of Man Hour. If you guys have not done so already, be sure to like what you are seeing right here. Share this with a couple friends. Sharing is caring at the end of the day. But the last Overreaction Tuesday, I planted the seed in the AFC West group for the Las Vegas Raiders fans, and I said the Las Vegas Raiders will be tanking for the rest of the season to get a quarterback to draft Derek Carr's replacement. Now, people were agreeing with me with this 100%. But these are also the same people that want Josh McDaniels fired after just 8 games of the season. So take it as you will. Take it as you will. But they think that Derek Carr is just not the quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders. And they want people to basically draft their replacement. So AKA tank, let's get a top 5 pick. Currently, the Raiders are second in the draft order for 2023 NFL draft. And I am basically solely going off what people have told me about this, but I have not broke down the film, so don't get it twisted and whatever. I relay that to my draft experts, and that's Wyatt Williams and Tori. They are the draft guys. They are, like my guys when I go to talk about draft stuff, which we'll be talking about that obviously once draft season comes up here on Man Hour about March and like April. But looking at the top 4 quarterbacks in this year's draft, you have Will Levis from Kentucky, Anthony Richard, I forgot where he is from, Bryce Young from Alabama, and CJ Stroud from the Ohio State. Legitimately, the Raiders probably don't even have to tank to get a quarterback if they truly wanted one. Every mock draft that I see has like CJ Stroud going like 15, 16. They have Bryce Young in the top 10. Will Levis from Kentucky is the best quarterback in the draft, and I absolutely love him. Being a passive Kentucky fan, I could see him play a lot of ball. But guys, it is not an overreaction to draft a quarterback in next year's draft. For whatever reason, they do not like Derek Carr in Las Vegas. I don't know if it's an owner thing or if it was a John Gruden thing or Josh McDaniels thing, but every offseason for the last 5-6 years, it seems like Derek Carr has been in some type of trade. You're going to get cut, some type of controversy, right? It's just like, we don't want Derek Carr, and then he goes out and proves next year. Like he gets better and better each and every season. And I don't know why Raiders fans do not like Derek Carr. I think he's a top 10 quarterback in the league. He is a good quarterback, guys. Like he consistently performs. Last season, he led the Raiders to the playoffs after losing their number 1 receiver in Henry Ruggs III to a car accident, right? Killing the girl and her dog. He's in jail now. They cut like 4 first-round picks like the following week. The coach got fired for, the sexually assaulting messages. It's just everything was against Derek Carr last season, and he performed. This year, he is not performing as well, but you do have to realize a new wide receiver, a brand new head coach. Like this is his 3rd head coach in 2 seasons. Wrap your head around that. And the expectations in Las Vegas are way up here when they should be about right here. You guys should be happy getting 6 wins after the offseason that like you've had. But for whatever reason, he doesn't perform. He doesn't do well. Look at the stats. Derek Carr gets better each and every season for Raiders. Like, he is arguably one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league. We were talking about Matthew Stafford earlier, right? And like Matthew Stafford, you know, people were saying he was so underrated, yada yada, because he was in Detroit. I think Derek Carr is underrated because he's in Las Vegas. If that trade would have happened with the Green Bay Packers sending, you know, Aaron Rodgers to Las Vegas and Derek Carr to Green Bay, I think we'd be having a totally different story for not only Derek Carr, but for Green Bay and the whole NFC North landscape. But yeah, I think the Raiders are content of where they're at, bottom feeders of the AFC West right now. Let's save some money. Let's save some cap room. Let's get Derek Carr out of here. Let's get Will Levis. Let's get Bryce Young. Let's get CJ Stroud. Let's get one of these young quarterbacks to throw to our vet receiver in Devontae Adams. And it is what it is. Jameson said the Raiders should fire McDaniels. Didn't Carr just get a $40+ million extension? I know he got some type of like extension, but there's probably some type of clause in there, right? You know, you get cut or whatever, like a performance thing. Bryce Young is a little dude, 6 foot tall, 195 pounds. You know who else was a little dude that was 6 foot, 180 pounds? Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, if you want to go that route. There are a lot of small quarterbacks in the league right now, and they performed. Jameson thinks Stroud probably goes to Houston. CJ Stroud. First things first is I like Davis Mills as a quarterback. I think Davis Mills has a very bright future in Houston if Houston decides to invest in him and build a team around him. Now, with the first overall pick currently that the Houston Texans have, they have a lot of holes to fill. Brandon Cooks wants out. Who is the rest of the receivers? The offensive line is suspect at best. The defense isn't terrible. What they need to do is probably invest one of their first-round picks and get a coach like Sean Payton and get Lovie Smith out of there. But Lovie Smith, get his ass out of there. But if the Houston Texans draft a quarterback number 1 overall, they shot themselves in the foot again. Like, not because Davis Mills is an elite athlete, because think about all those draft picks that they got for Deshaun Watson. They have like 16 draft picks in the next 2 seasons or something crazy, just like that. They can either, you know, draft the best defensive tackle or draft the best receiver in the league, and then they come in at like number 8 or number 9 again, and then they can get the second best quarterback or the third best quarterback in the draft. I mean, you just said it. You like yourself. CJ Stroud's a little dude, 6 foot, 195 pounds, and he is in no Heisman talk. Yes, he is on an undefeated Ohio State team, which I have the privilege to watch in person this weekend. Pretty excited about that. Thank you, Zen. But it's just there are a lot of things. There's a lot of moving parts in Houston right now, and obviously it is too early to tell where they're going to start to draft that. But we'll start talking about that in February with my man Wyatt and Tori Anderson moving forward. But guys, as always, thank you for tuning in here on the Man Hour, and we got some great stuff happening right here. Like here, guys. So if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe, whatever platform you are listening on. Turn on those notifications, and guys, we are so active on the Facebook page right now. If you want to have any type of debate, any type of talk, head over to facebook.com/Man Hour Sports, and we have, like, I don't know, 10,000 people over there. Things are popping. big things popping, little things dropping, right? But guys, that's going to be it for the Man Hour. Tune in tomorrow. Hump Day Blues is tomorrow. Tomorrow's show, Wednesday. We got Way or No Way Wednesday coming up. We're going to talk the NFL Power Rankings that Beastie Combs has released. Spoiler alert, the Eagles are no longer number one. If you're following us on Facebook, you know exactly where the teams are that right now. And then it says, if it's and buts were candy and nuts, we all have a Merry Christmas. Yeah, there you go. Something like that. See you guys tomorrow, guys. Same time, same place, 8 p.m. East Coast time. If you missed any part of the show, you can download us on Spotify, iTunes, of course, iHeartRadio. Or you can always check out the replay right here, whatever platform you're listening on to. See you guys next time. We out.